Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Alani. Happy Easter, and if you guys would like to see how I went from this to this, please keep watching. Starting out with my modern nest, I chose 3 different metallic paints, silver, copper, and gold, and I got one for each of my nests. I bought 2 packs of white plastic eggs, and I'm putting the dye away to the side. Maybe I'll use that for a future DIY, I don't know, but I chose to put 7 eggs into each nest. I got a pack of brushes from the Dollar Tree. These kind are kind of like the hard material, the kind you'd get in like a little kid's paint set, and they're pretty hard, but they're perfect for flicking the paint onto my eggs. So I just put all of my eggs inside their cartons and got ready to spray paint. With the can of spray paint, I spray paint the entire nest, and then after I spray paint my nest, I grabbed the cap and I put all the spray paint inside there, kind of puddling it in there, and then I dip the brush in and flick paint all over all of the eggs. I do a flicking motion and I even tap it against something to make those little streaks, which you will see here. After all the paint had dried, I put the eggs in their matching colored nests. You could glue these in place, but I just liked the way they looked all thrown together. And here is a close-up of each egg. I really like that none of these eggs look exactly the same. They all have different speckles and flicks and spray paint on them, and it just looks beautiful. And on to our second DIY, which are these 4 different wooden bunnies. I didn't know if I wanted to use the felt or if I wanted to use these towels from the Dollar Tree. I put them on and realized I really like the felt better, so now I have hand towels for my kitchen. Using this craft glue, I glued the felt onto every one of my bunnies, and I used the side of my paintbrush just to make sure the edges are as stuck as possible. After the top part had dried, I used a combination of craft glue and my glue gun to adhere the sides of felt down around the wood. I used some scissors and the edge of a paintbrush to really smooth out the edges. For all my bunnies, I cut 5 slits total. I do a slit at the top on each side of the bunny's head where the ears begin, and then 2 at the bottom where his feet begin, and then 1 down the middle of his ears so that the felt can go in both directions. After everything is glued to the back of my bunnies, I just cut off all the excess felt, and then there's this little gap in between where the ears are on all of the bunnies, so I just use a piece of excess felt and glue that on. Here are all of my bunnies all covered in beautiful. The backs of them look kind of ugly, but I didn't have enough excess felt, as you can see, to cover the backs of them. If you did want to cover the backs of them, you just need 2 pieces of felt per wooden bunny. Now, using my handy dandy toothbrush from the Dollar Tree, I brushed all of my bunnies to take off any pieces of lint and to get them ready for their tails. And here are my faux fur bunny tails. I didn't find a small gray one, but this one was on sale, and I love me a good sale, so I grabbed it, and I just need to cut it up to make sure it's the exact same size as all the other tails. I cut up the tail straight down the middle all the way around, and I was left with this big ol' mess, but I only needed half of the tail, and to fluff it up, I used 1 piece of cotton from the middle. I gathered up all of the edges and glued those in place with some hot glue, and my tail was done. For my brown bunny, I couldn't find a brown that matched the felt that I picked out, so I dyed one of the white tails. I put 1 part brown paint and 1 part water. This is the brown paint that I found that matched the felt, so I thought it would be perfect, but I highly recommend using fabric dye because the tail came out a little crusty. I let this sit for about 2 hours, washed it off, blow dried it, and I just didn't like the end result. And back again with my handy dandy Dollar Tree toothbrush, I brushed all of my little bunny tails, fluffing some of them up, and then I brushed all of my bunnies, making sure that there was no lint on my felt so I could get them ready to have their tails glued on. And just 1 more trim for the gray tail. To glue the tails on, I just used some craft glue. I made a circle at the bottom of each bunny, and then in the middle of that circle, I put a dot of hot glue, and I put a few dots of hot glue on the tail as well. This glue dries clear, and the hot glue will hold the tail in place while the fabric glue dries, which I call it fabric glue, but it's also craft glue at the same time, so if you see me go back and forth, it's the same glue. And here are all of my bunnies and Easter egg nests. Although I do love pastels and the bright colors for spring, I really like this modern twist with the metallics and the neutrals. So I hope you guys love them too. If you guys do like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, comment, subscribe. And I hope you all have a very happy Easter, and I will see you guys next time.